oh, here we go again, except this time it's for real. And frankly, I don't know if I like it.
No, God!
What am I talking about? I'm talking about brand new leaks for Avengers Doomsday coming from the marketing department, which is a little bit weird. And it seems like this is real, and it also probably spoils like massive twists for the Avengers Doomsday film. It actually also explains a lot of the leaks and the rumors we've been hearing over the past 6 months, because I strongly feel that a lot of the scoopers and insiders have access to this trailer, and that's why we're getting all the info we're getting, because it's all coming from this trailer. Again, it's controversial. Like, I don't even know how I feel about this. This is kind of weird. So let's break down the new leak, then let's talk about it at the end of the video. Like, I've been processing this. I've been trying to see how it could potentially match up with other things that I think is going on. It's a bold choice. It's bold. So this came out on Reddit. It is essentially a person who has contact with the marketing department. He gets specific about like the Toronto office, which is really weird. Kind of irrelevant though. The point is, the guy claims to know what he's talking about, and there's a lot of weird coincidences once you hear this. So the guy comes forward to say that what they're doing for the marketing is they're going to show that Doctor Doom had a kid with Sue Storm. Franklin Richards, in a different universe, in Doctor Doom's native universe, the RDJ Doctor Doom, he was married to Sue Storm and had Franklin Richards as a son.
What? What the fuck?
And I think that obviously explains the post-credit scene in the Fantastic Four movie, right? Like Doom taking his mask off and kind of touching the kid. That shit makes a lot more sense now, not as weird, which is good. But also, this is an incredibly controversial choice, as it does indicate that the motivation for Doctor Doom, at least initially, is going to be pretty simple. He was married to Sue Storm, he had a kid, his universe likely was destroyed. And in fact, a lot of the leaks were suggesting that his home universe was destroyed and his family was killed because of Steve Rogers, which takes us all the way back to those leaks from about 4 months ago about Steve Rogers.
Oh my God!
And on the one hand, maybe this is just some random dude on Reddit, but I don't really think so, because it lines up with a lot of stuff that I've personally heard. And in fact, John Campbell on his show just yesterday tried to say that this was a theory he had. And although I don't 100% know, I'm pretty sure John's actually just talking to sources that are hearing the exact same things that this marketing guy is hearing. And now John is trying to pretend that it's a theory he's having because he doesn't want to expose sources and say that yes, he has also heard this. And obviously there were the leaks from My Time to Shine from a couple of months back, which talked about Steve Rogers being the big focus of Doomsday, the fact that Doctor Doom's universe gets destroyed because of Steve Rogers, and therefore Doctor Doom is going after Steve Rogers. So you can kind of see that there's a piling amount of evidence to suggest that this is actually what Marvel is doing with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom. However, it's important to note that this isn't the full picture of it, and there are a couple of things that I want to get into to kind of explain why even this might not actually be what's really going on. This has to do with the Russo brothers and how they hide things in the trailers. Because again, I really believe a lot of this is all coming from the trailer, guys. There's a lot of rumors that a massive trailer is coming on December 18th with the release of Avatar: Fire and Ash. And there's just a lot of people talking about that. And if it's as big of a deal as we are now hearing, that would suggest that Marvel has been working on this trailer for like 4 to 5 months, which lines up perfectly with the timing of all the scoopers beginning to talk about Steve Rogers and Doctor Doom's family and his motivations in the film. Do you see what's going on? So again, I actually think this is real. Okay, so real quick, go down in the comment section and just tell me, what do you make of this shit? What do you think about this for the motivation for Doctor Doom? Now here's the thing. I'll just say this right away. This does not disprove my theory about Doctor Doom and Tony Stark, but it would indicate that Doom's initial motivation in Doomsday is not connected to the realization of the Prime universe and of just like the fake ass universe from He Who Remains. I will explain this all in other videos and in other streams, but it is absolutely possible that Doctor Doom is just in a universe. He had a child with Sue Storm. That universe is destroyed destroyed because of incursions due to Steve Rogers, and that sets Doctor Doom on a path to go to the Fantastic Four universe, where he then finds this variant of his son that kind of bonds him to the Fantastic Four family and Reed Richards and Sue, and that then could explain all the different leaks that we've heard about how Doctor Doom is going to now come in to 616 with the Fantastic Four. He has the Fantastic Four, and they are working together with this Victor Von Doom as he enters 616. So again, it just really seems like this is what it is. It also explains the concept art from Secret Wars, which shows Doctor Doom, Sue Storm, and Franklin Richards all in that crazy ass throne room. So how did this happen? Like, what is the deal with this exactly? Well, it's going to be like this. Sacred Timeline had separated out heroes and had made the timeline go a very specific way, mostly so that in the main Sacred Timeline there would be no Doctor Doom and there would be no X-Men. Now, there are theories as far as like how this played out. Maybe he had to put X-Men in other realities because of eternity, but that's like really fucking nerdy. You don't need to like really understand that to kind of grasp what I'm talking about with RDJ. All you need to know is He Who Remains basically removes Doctor Doom, but after the events of Loki season 1, which remember, Kevin Feige said the events of WandaVision and the events of Multiverse of Madness and the events of Spider-Man No Way Home would not be possible unless Loki season 1 happened. What I'm talking about is the removal of He Who Remains as the curator of the Sacred Timeline. This allows them to touch the multiverse. So during the events of Loki season 1, He Who Remains is eliminated as the controller of the Sacred Timeline. Therefore, all of the things that He Remains was trying to keep out of the multiverse begin popping back up. This includes the X-Men, this includes the Fantastic Four, and this includes Doctor Doom. And so a lot of Doctor Doom variants start popping up on the different timelines, and in the one where RDJ comes from, he got married to Sue Storm. He had a son named Franklin Richards. And it appears that Franklin Richards and Sue Storm from that universe with RDJ's Doctor Doom get killed. They get killed because of an incursion. And if the other rumors are to be believed, this will have something to do with Steve Rogers. When Steve Rogers was going back to put the stones back, there is this really weird line in Endgame where Hulk tells him you have to put him back in the exact same moment where you're going to create a bunch of chaotic different timelines. And Steve Rogers literally says, "Prune the branches. I got it." That implies that Steve Rogers himself might have pruned the branches and pruned a universe where RDJ becomes Doctor Doom and marries Sue Storm. Like, I don't know. That's kind of a way that this could be going. Again, we don't know the full details, but if you look at all the different reports and just like try to make sense of it, this new report lines up with everything. And that is how it would happen. Like, essentially, Franklin dies in that universe. Doom, just like Wanda Maximoff, goes out into the multiverse seeking a different reality where his son is still alive. And by the way, that could actually be why Wanda Maximoff and Doctor Doom are rumored to be working together in Doomsday and maybe even having some kind of a romantic thing. Like, through heartbreak of losing the thing that they feel they deserve, they found each other out in the multiverse. Maybe Wanda even helps Doom get to this universe with 616. Like, this shit could be crazy. Like, this is very, very crazy the way this is all going. Okay, but is this lame? Like, is this a bad way to do Doctor Doom? Well, I'll be honest with you, it's not what I would have done. And when I did first hear these different rumors from Shine and others, I rejected them. I was like, there's no way, that's really silly. And I remember like Shine and a lot of the scoopers that I was talking to back then, they were framing it in the same way. Remember, I had this big conversation with Rob from Comics Explained. I'll link the video, it's on my Clips channel. But Rob from Comics Explained and I had like a 40+ minute discussion about those old leaks with Steve Rogers. And we were both kind of sitting there like, this is not Doctor Doom. Like, this doesn't feel like Doctor Doom. This is kind of freaking lame. However, I'll give you some medium copium and then I'll give you some like extra strong extreme copium. The medium copium is this is actually a play on Victor from the comic books. Victor Von Doom in the comic books does view Reed Richards as like a version of himself that was handed everything in life. Like, they're very similar, except Victor suffered. He comes from a different place. He lost his parents very early. He had to make his way through life on just his intelligence and his magic abilities. And we know this because in the 2015 Secret Wars, Doctor Doom takes Reed Richards' family. Like on Battleworld, as God Emperor, he's married to Sue. They have Valeria and Franklin as children. And so in some ways, this is taking something from the comics and flipping it on its head and giving us like a new version for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in that sense, I could possibly get down. And also, like, it's a really simple way to get audiences to understand the motivation and the rage. It also is a really dynamic situation with Sue and with Reed, and I think it makes that whole situation like very interesting. So it's not all terrible. Like, even in just the medium cope version, there's good things here. But now let me tell you the hardcore cope version, because again, I still think my theory is real about the Tony Stark we witnessed in the Infinity Saga being a Victor Von Doom variant. All right, this gets wild, but just hear me out on this, okay? I think Victor Von Doom's motivation is what he says it is in this whole leak thing. Like, he had the child, he was married to Sue, and he lost his family, and that sucks. However, I actually think that Doom could also have the understanding that even his old life wasn't actually real. Meaning, Doom will understand that even that reality where he was married to Sue was a false reality, and therefore, at some point in the movie, Doom will snap, and he's not just gonna want his reality back, he's gonna want all the things that he had, but then he's gonna want a new reality, a reality where he is God. And that is some real crazy Doctor Doom level awesomeness. And guys, there's even more, because remember, we have leaks that Doctor Doom's suit is keeping him together, that he's like basically broken and his suit is keeping him alive. Well, we found out that the actual suit from that Shanghai event, that's the real Doctor Doom suit, okay? Somebody saw set photos with Downey in that exact suit and has been talking about it on social media. But the thing that's really interesting is this implies that Doom's universe was destroyed, and this Victor Von Doom is literally going to be decimated, broken, and yet use magic and technology to like rebuild himself in a devastated universe. And that's so Doctor Doom. I think we're actually going to watch in the actual Doomsday film this guy and his universe be destroyed, and then him, this battered, broken, like husk of a man with nothing but willpower, save himself, build the suit, which again, it's going to be different than the one he originally has, right? Because he's going to have to keep himself together. And I think at that point, we're going to see the RDJ Doctor Doom, which again has been described as a universal monster, Phantom of the Opera kind of a character. All of that makes a lot more sense within the context of him having a past Sue Storm marriage and a child with Sue Storm. It's also possible Doctor Doom's just lying to everybody. That's a very Doctor Doom thing to do as well. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But anyways, guys, there you go. There's the new leak. It's really crazy. Like, this is pretty fucking crazy. Would love to know what you think about this. We'll talk more about this on streams and stuff, of course. But yeah, would love to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video.